Hi folks, welcome to this Friday's episode of the Week at Marvel Avengers Alliance. Today is Friday the 8th of April, and this is going to be the Death Locket edition. So, let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got going on today. As you can see, today's background music is brought to you by Epic Chill Step Collection 2015. A link will be in the description. So let's dive right into it. First, touching base with PvP. We are 12 days left, so we are under 2 weeks. So we're looking at probably a Sunday finish, maybe a Monday. The way they work the clock sometimes with this gets messed up. I'm sitting about 1650, pretty happy. Was negative 86 overnight. Climbed back up with no losses, and now just took a nice plus 19. Defense for me is still going to be the triple bruiser suit, Despair Kurth, Straining Pesty, with the Infiltrator ISO on him, with Revengeance on her, Scootum, Big and Fast, and Inceptive over here. Inceptive Resurrection. Also Intangible because of the Falb. And that's what I'm running over here. Offense has been the same all season. This is the gear. These guys have been doing a pretty good job. However, my most recent experiment of Blaster Suicide has proven to be kind of fun. I did it in a video and I've touched upon it for several streams. And it's enjoyable. I really think it needs Spitfire. But after Spitfire, her partner kind of doesn't matter. Invisible Woman's pretty solid. Psylocke's pretty solid. Ranged would be good. So that if your agent is dead and Spitfire is one of the only ones healthy, you don't have issues against a like a Scootum user and a Scutcheon user. I tried it with Elsa. Yeah, the Deb is really messing Elsa up way too bad. Not happy with that one. Maybe Baron Mordo would be good. I really think it needs a Despair and maybe a Cleanse or a little bit of a heal. But when you run Blaster Suicide, you do have to note that no multifunction gear works. So you can have the Falb and you can have the Mystic in place of the Lantern, but your weather control device and your cube would be useless. The scroll would work. So if you do plan on doing something like that, certainly plan accordingly. Heroes are looking great. Cammy is my only not level 15 tactician. Blasters are coming along nicely. Deathlock is training. And Human Torch and Thane are just waiting. Nova's training. So the Blasters are getting there, Bruisers are getting there. I just recently pulled up Iceman, Captain Britain, and of course, also working on Hellcat down here in the Scrappers. But the top of the chart is filling out kind of nicely, despite Playdom just throwing new seasons at us all the time, and it's hard to get that time off to level in there, but it's going pretty good. So, we have a new simulator task, and that is because we have a covert ops going on for Deathlock. Deathlocket, actually. So the first task is to defeat the robotic enemies, and then you have cybernetic enemies, and then you have Metamask, despite the fact that it's clearly freaking Hawkeye over there. I did do the first round today, and we also have another task to collect 20 of the VK machines. Now, people have mathed this out, and there's a little bit of issues in the math on it. You only get one per day from doing the daily the first time. The amount of time it takes to do this covert ops and the amount of time it takes to get one a day from the daily is not lining up, which is implying that at the end of it, unless we get other ways of getting VK machines, we will have to purchase them, and they will be 3 a pop. So we gotta hope that Playdom gives us something in there. So now I do have the task list. So task 1, send any hero on the flight deck. Select task 2, collect 20 of the VK machines. Number 3, complete the Robo-Rumble simulator. Defeat Doom's robots using Death Locket. So if you do this ahead of the O2, your O3 doesn't count. Complete cybernetic... No, actually, I'm sorry. I think, O3 was its own. It does count. Number 4 is the one that I think doesn't count until number 2 is done. Complete the Mass Menace simulator and reverse tuning test in the lab. So it looks like it's about 6 tasks. Some people, of course, may be going through horror stories when it comes to collecting these machines. And these horror stories are flashed back to the tankard. There's a lot of people who were playing around the time of the tankard and unfortunately didn't get to complete it and then was never able to get it again. Also, we have had that bug that when the gear goes on sale, unless you completed it, you can't buy it. Now, that definitely happened for the tankard, and I do believe something else. Was it Squirrel Girl? Something else had come up somewhat recently where the Vigilante Toolkit, that's what it was. The Vigilante Toolkit was on sale in the store after it had the nerf got fixed on it, and it was actually usable again. It was put on sale, and unless you had actually completed all the tasks to make the Vigilante Toolkit, you didn't see it for sale, which is retarded. It's like, hey, you just bought a brand new car. Would you like to buy this car again? No. I see you have a broken down car and you need to get to work, but you can't buy this car because you never bought the car, right? I mean, it's an idiotic paradox of stupidity on Playdom's part. And people were submitting tickets going, hey, I can't get the tankard because I didn't do the covert ops. And I'm like, oh yeah, we're working on it. And then there's been like 2 or 3 other things since the tankard that the same exact fucking problem has been happening. So it's like, whatever. So, as soon as I collect this row of poop over here, I want to show you guys another lovely case of Playdom's quality control. So this came up during the Thursday and Friday streams, and that is now we have Playdom's continuity and graphics department is fucking up. So if we come over here and look at Deathlock, look at her thumbnail and look at her picture, and I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to realize what is wrong with this, the thumbnail and the picture. Okay, in case you haven't figured it out, continuity problems. This Death Locket down here has her cybernetics on the side facing us, which is her right side. In the thumbnail, her cybernetics are on the left side of her, which is what's behind her. She's facing to the right in both circumstances, yet the cybernetics are the left side of her body, it's the right side of her body. Shia LaBeouf is a cannibal clap. I mean, come on. I noticed this instantly. Like, the moment I looked at Death Locket, when, she was in the game for several hours before the task came out, and everybody's like, well, when are we getting the task? She's in the game. I was like, wait a minute, what the... Come on, people. I mean, I've got pretty high marks in school and everything, and I'm generally fairly bright. Sometimes I have my not bright moments. This is ridiculous that this passed through so many eyes at Playdom and nobody noticed this. Fucking chimps, man. Just chimps. So, Deathlocket, let's take a look at her. She is a blaster. She has medium health, really poor stamina, but she restores it herself. She has high attack, decent defense for a blaster, average accuracy, and poor evasion. She's cybernetic. She has recon AI, attacks apply combat data, gains combat intel when enemies attack, snipe gains despair, and it removes buffs. Just wanted to sort by blasters, and there's a reason for that. When she has combat AI, she gains a follow-up. She counters costing 1 combat intel. Attack actions gain combat assessment. A Mega Blast gains fatal blow. So we do know Deathlock himself also has combat data. Will they work with each other? My guess is probably yes. Will they work with the agent gear that gives combat data based on Deathlock not at? The answer is probably no. Rapid fire, radiation exposure. So, in case you guys are unaware of this, here's how this goes with Kuurth. If the attack type includes radiation, ranged gun, energy, radiation, it will not work on Kuurth. But if down in the description it has radiation, or you add radiation ISOs, it hits, but it doesn't do the rad part of it. So right now, her level 1 is off the table when it comes to Kuurth. Kuurth is everywhere in PvP. She's in the meta like you would not believe. It's Angrier Null, Angrier Kuurth, Kuurth, and Kuurth, and a Strawberry Vanilla Kuurth milkshake. I mean, it's like, and Playdom infinitely jacked up the power of the Worthy with the new AISOs. Not only that, but those AISOs get released at a time in which the deb was scaled back to not work against subtle. Obviously, that's good and bad. A lot of people hated it, but that just took the Worthy power levels, and it's over 9,000! I mean, Vegeta's fucking scout... Well, it wasn't Vegeta's, it was the other guys. But the scouting level meter is, like, way fucked up now. Because, you know, the Worthy can put out Straining. They can put out Endemic. They can put out Despair. It's a matter of brain power and a little bit of gold. That's... And it's unstoppable. That's the thing. So, at a time in which we're dealing with potential blaster blow-up, having Despair is rough, and a lot of people are discovering the better way to run Blaster Blow Up. A lot of people were trying it with high attack, low hit point teams. Yeah, that's apparently not the best way to do this anymore. There's another way that makes it way worse. But, so right now, Rapid Fire immediately is not going to work on Kuurth. Combat subroutines, double action. The first action is a 2-round cooldown, so it is up every other round. It's subtle. It's a quick action. Combat AI. It gains follow-up encounters, costing 1 combat intel. Attack actions gain combat assessment. She removes her own debuffs, and she restores her own stamina, just like the ISO. Recon subroutine. Quick action, subtle. On herself, she gains Recon AI, and she restores stamina. So you just, you bounce back and forth between them. Flamethrower. This is the AoE that she does when we fight her. All enemies, 1 round, energy, fire, and range. Burning. Superior firepower, which is intimidated, melt arm, and shell shocked. Just like one of the old guns from a chapter. Maybe the Vickers gun, I think. The challenge mode version of the Vickers gun. Well, that's what used to do Shell Shock. And if you guys don't remember, Shell Shock took a major nerf at one point because it was way too powerful. She also puts out combat data, and she deals extra damage if she has combat assessment. And then we have Mega Blast. which is a giant AoE that exploits radiation. So right now, not going to work on Kuurth too much. All enemies get Fatal Blow. All enemies get Combat Assessment. And then she has her Obnoxious Snipe, which does Despair, removes buffs, and combat data. So I think she's got a pretty good spot in PvP right now when she gets leveled in right ISOs. I'm concerned about her level 1 against Kuurth because she doesn't have a lot of cooldowns. And you know, the way her cooldowns work is she doesn't have a lot of other abilities that she's going to be able to do on others. So if it like just comes down to her and Kuurth like dueling it out, Kuurth immediately has the upper hand. So let me show you what I am talking about when I talk about radiation and everything. So, by the way, in case you are unaware, Kuurth is available for playtesting at any given point in time because she is down here in the villain archive. So if you're curious as to how something might work against common meta defense teams, play them in the simulator. So the first thing we'll do is we will get Havoc. Then we'll get Rocket Raccoon. So if we take a look at Rocket Raccoon over here, we'll see that his level 1 Blam 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 is Range Gun Energy Explosion. But I have Radiation Exposure. It's not in the type, it's in the tooltip. And then his Blam 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 actually is Radiation, and his level 9 is Radiation. So I'll highlight the difference to you guys and show you what works and what doesn't work. Alright, so nothing on my agent in terms of radiation, nothing up my sleeve. Now watch. Melee, energy, radiation. It'll be a dodge. Guaranteed, all the time, dodge. Even if the person's staggered, well, even if Kuurth is staggered, dodged. Same thing for plasma spheres. Dodge. It's because the type is radiation. Now watch what happens with Rocket Raccoon. This is not a radiation attack, yet it causes radiation exposure. Let's look at Kuurth. She was hit by it, but she is not suffering the fallout for rad exposure, so this is not going to be a feral ghoul now. So that's what you have to keep in mind when it comes to Deathlocket. Any of her moves that are tagged as positive for radiation in the type are immediately going to just straight out be dodged on Kuurth. It will even do no damage. Now, as you can see, Rocket Raccoon doesn't have any issues with Kuurth. However, Havoc over here, I mean, this guy was a killer in PvP. You can't deny Havoc's power. Energy and ranged. So that one worked because it's not tagged as radiation. Now this, on the other hand, which is tagged as radiation, complete whiff. So keep that in mind when you are considering energy attacks and radiation attacks and everything. You have to take a look at the type. You can have radiation effects as part of the ISOs, or it can be down in the tooltip. It just cannot be part of the type. So, you know, use the simulator to your advantage. Use it to test. So, in case you guys haven't done the first of these yet, I'll go through it. I really think this is good that we are getting a fully leveled Deathlocket in this sim, because of the fact that it kind of lets you get to know her a little bit. And I enjoy that because I don't know how I feel about her yet. I don't know if I have her essence, you know? Like, You know what Pesty's essence is. He ruins the battlefield. You know what Captain America's essence is. He's a tank. I just... Having this sim helps me understand her a little better. And how her abilities work. She took a stun, which is unfortunate. But clearly she's amazing at spreading radiation. I mean, she does the radiation ticks on these guys straight up murders them. And they absolutely fall apart under her dots. But see, gains follow-up encounters costing 1 combat intel, attack actions. The fact that it's gray, it's that gray color that is messing me up. It's making me think, oh, I haven't done what I need to do to get it activated. I don't know. That's why I'm having a hard time getting a feel for Deathlocket at the moment. So self, gains combat AI. Okay, alright, I'm getting it. Okay. Alright, I finally figured it out. One thing gives her combat AI, which is like a mode. And then the other one gives her recon AI, which is like a mode. I got it. So when I have combat AI, Mega Blast gains Fatal Blow, which is... Okay. I understand now. Basically, it's like class shifting. It's almost like Blaster Vision, Infiltrator Vision. So now I can keep her in combat AI if I want. Got it. Okay, so what I was doing is I was blindly switching her modes and not understanding what exactly I was doing. But now I've got it. Okay, like I said, I'm not always bright. Mostly bright. Alright guys, so there is the week in Marvel Avengers Alliance on the store. In the store. We have the VK machines themselves, so you can hurry this along. I mean, if you've got, you know, a real interest in getting Deathlocket as soon as possible, then yeah, you know, by all means, go to the store, get the VK machines, which is somewhere along here, I'm sure. Yeah, they are, the VK machines. Hey, you know, drop money and get them right now if you want to. As you can see, the price of these things never go down. I mean, when's the last time we used runed metal? But, yeah, drop bank right now and get it right now if you wanted to. Or, just wait it out a little bit. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed the week in Marvel Avengers Alliance. If you haven't picked it up for your devices yet, get Marvel Avengers Alliance 2 for your mobile devices. Awesome game. Seems to be going over very, very well. My tips and tricks videos on Marvel Avengers Alliance 2 is doing very, very well. A lot of people are viewing it and discussing things on there. So the game is definitely popular. Hope you guys had a good week in Marvel. And let's strap in for the last week and some odd days of PvP over here. Take care, everybody. Have yourselves a good weekend.